Good morning, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Friday, October 7th, around 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 2022. We have some space weather, an M flare kicking off as we're recording. There is a radio blackout currently happening. We also have Mauna Loa rumbling. Take a look. But the big story is early winter. Feeling the cold? Monday sets New York City's record as temperatures sit well below normal. Keep calm. It's chilly time. A colder than normal October 3rd set a record Monday as high temperatures for the day hovered in the low to mid 50s throughout the New York City area. The National Weather Service climate station at JFK International Airport in Queens only reached 52 degrees. Yesterday was a cool one. Record cool, in fact, on Monday for at least JFK. They broke the record for the minimum high temperature. Don't you like the phraseology of that? It's no longer a low. It's a minimum high. And here's the forecast for the rest of the next 2 weeks, and it's looking like ho, ho, ho. Snow is back in the forecast for most of the northern tier. It's already snowing in northern Michigan. We did have a report of snow this morning in Michigan. But the big story now is what's about to happen to Alaska. A month's worth of snow in just a few days as a major system is offshore that could bring up to, look at that, 10 feet of snow by the end of October. Alaska storm, locally heavy rain in the southwest. A powerful storm system continues to batter parts of the northwestern and west central Alaska today into early Saturday. Locally heavy rainfall is possible today through the weekend in parts of the southwest, mainly in Arizona and New Mexico, so heads up for flash flooding there. And below normal high temperatures, that means record cold, is expected today across much of the Midwest before reaching the eastern U.S. over the weekend. Below normal high temperatures. We live in a clown world. Those used to be called record lows. And they just don't want you to understand that record lows are happening all the time and more frequently. So now they're below normal high temperatures. Absolutely a clown world. As we see here, over 8 states in the center of the U.S. with frost and freeze warnings. Please protect your sensitive plants or harvest all remaining fruits and vegetables that are susceptible to freeze damage from your gardens before they are ruined. So, heads up, it's going to get cold tonight. I woke up, it was 37 here, so that is the coldest morning so far other than the freeze, which was about a month ago. Now, we do have a new Tropical Storm Julia, in the Caribbean Ocean here. Julia is forecast to strengthen into a hurricane by Saturday evening while it moves over the southwestern Caribbean Sea. And a hurricane warning is now in effect for San Andreas, Providencia, and Santa Catalina Islands. A hurricane watch is also now in effect for much of the Nicaraguan coast. Hurricane force winds and dangerous storm surge are expected in areas where the core of this system crosses islands and moves onshore. We do have some spaghetti models to show you that path through Nicaragua and most of Central America here, potentially reemerging in the Gulf, re-strengthening, and then hitting Mexico again. So, big storm probably won't be affecting much in the way of the U.S., maybe southern Texas, but that is far out on the models. As La Nina hits Sydney with record-breaking rain, we reported on this yesterday, off the charts. The rain is so far off the charts and above the record high, they still have 3 more months of potential rainfall to come to increase this record. Yesterday, Australia's capital city, Sydney, beat the annual rainfall record set back in 1950 of 86.4 inches. And that was just in the first 9 months of the year. The area has already seen 175% of the average rainfall, and more is coming to Sydney. As Mauna Loa is stirring, and alert levels remain at advisory levels. This is, well, it's not a necessarily dangerous volcano. If we look at the historic past eruptions, the last major eruption at Mauna Loa was back in 1984, and it was VEI 0. And then dozens of other eruptions, all VEI 0, with a few exceptions at VEI 1. And there was a VEI 2 back in 1868 when the Southwest Rift Zone opened up. So we could be seeing a new eruption, but based on all historical data and information, it will probably be VEI 0 and affect almost no one. The Mauna Loa Observatory is up high, mostly tourists coming up here, and they have closed off some of the infrastructure.
15 or 20 a day up to, as like 40 to 50 a day at this point. We've seen an indication that magma may be moving up slightly shallower, but we're still talking several kilometers, well over a mile beneath the summit. Nothing is close to the surface under the summit at this point.
Hahn says in '84, there were only 4 hours of lead time ahead of the eruption. In about 60 minutes, earthquakes shot up from 2 every hour to 2 every minute.
Right now, we're, 50 earthquakes a day is about 2 earthquakes an hour. So when we start seeing earthquakes per minute, then that will be worrisome.
And while the alert level remains at advisory and the aviation color code is still yellow,
but this uptick in activity is significant. So we want to make sure people are alerted to the fact that it's up in this higher level, and the probability of an eruption has become a little bit higher because of that.
The Hawaii Volcano Observatory is switching from weekly to daily updates to show heightened interest, and the National Park Service closed the summit backcountry area to hikers Wednesday. But officials say the closure isn't unordinary.
Most recently, it closed due to a wildfire. That was actually the whole road.
So now they're just making excuses, but I do digress. Mauna Loa is not currently erupting and the alert level has not been raised, but a recent uptick in seismic activity has led authorities to close parts of the mountain. You heard it, an increase of about several 100%, but still not near threshold levels of an eruption. The magma is below the surface, about a mile beneath, and Kilauea is currently erupting. And even though it's currently erupting, you can see there's almost no seismicity over here. So something may be happening down here in Pahala, along this rift zone, or up at Mauna Loa. So very interesting things developing in Hawaii, and we could have some spectacular eye candy coming soon in the next few weeks or months from a Mauna Loa eruption. I have never witnessed one. I was only 13, I guess, when it was erupting the last time, so this will be interesting, to say the least, as Mauna Loa begins to rumble. Space weather news update. We did have an M flare as we began recording. There is a radio blackout. We can probably get some better refresh data. There it is. This is way more up to speed. So that's it. But we do see a ramping up here from a very flat sun, ramping up now into M range. And we have some dangerous spots, big spots, and they're pointing directly at us. I believe that M flare came from 3111, but the telemetry is just coming in. So that no way to confirm that. We are more concerned about active region 3112, which is actually directly Earth facing now. Let's see if we can get the latest HMI intensity up here. There it is. See, you can see it directly Earth facing. So that last M flare was from this departing region. This is the area in question we should be worried about over the next 24 to 48 hours. And we'll keep a close eye on it for you as the sun begins ramping up into M range. Now, they have successfully controlled the Blue Walker 3 test satellite. It's been in orbit for 3 weeks. It's had several ground stations communicating with it, and they plan to unfold the array on the second half of October. This is a huge antenna they're putting up there to propagate, I believe, 4G. But what I want to show you here is a picture of the Earth, and it's round, so it's not flat. Now, there has been a new pause update. The pause in global warming has now lengthened to 8 years. And if you just look at the last 2 years, there is a precipitous drop in temperature of about 0.25 C. That's why it's getting chilly on Earth. Not because of CO2, not because of you, it's the sun. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We hope you got something out of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. And be safe. We love you. Oh yeah, become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. And that's a boom to knowledge.